Awesome. Awesome. Well, welcome back from lunch, everybody. We're really, really glad that you chose our breakout session. It's not like it's not going to be the best or anything, but thank you for joining. We do have a really, really awesome session. We're going to talk all things YouTube. For those of you I don't know, my name's Duncan. I'm our EVP of Brand Engagement at Tinuiti, and I am lucky enough to be joined by my friend John, who heads social, video, and influencer at Google. John, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Yeah, I know that title's kind of vague. I'm like a catch-all for creator and influencer and social and shorts. But my ultimate goal at YouTube is to bring more brands and creators together to make awesome, amazing content. So thank you for having me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Since we are just coming back from lunch, we are going to make you guys do an activity. I promise it's easy. You just have to raise your hands. So by a raise of hands, who here has a favorite YouTube influencer or creator? Just raise your hand. That's it. You don't have to do much more. Okay. I'd say 40% of the room. I think that's a good number.
Yeah, that's not bad.
We're starting there.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I just read a statistic that said only 49% of brands have ever worked with a creator.
Okay.
So I think your averages are making sense.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What about you? You have some favorites?
I do now because I've been interviewing them on panels and having conversations with them. So I have like personal favorites that I just love to work with. Michelle Kari is like fantastic. She's like one of our biggest partners on the YouTube brand side and really understands brand collaboration opportunities and how to coach brands on working with creators and working on the platform on YouTube. But I mean, Sean Evans and Hot Ones, like, give it up if you guys are, like, guys fans of Hot Ones. Like, let's get them an Emmy. Like, I think they deserve an Emmy, and the team there, Chris, who's really the guy behind the scenes, and Sean have done such a fantastic job building content there. So those are a couple of my favorites.
Amazing. And I think, John, you guys brought us a awesome video we're going to kick things off with
let's
about
check it
some
out.
of the creators on YouTube.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this, congratulations. You must care deeply about your audience because you're considering the stage with the world's largest audience. YouTube. Let's get one thing straight though. YouTube is not just another content platform. It's about people. Real stories, real communities, real impact.
You have no idea what this means to me, dude.
All driving real influence across diverse interests and passions. My own YouTube journey has been all about pushing my limits.
She's YouTube's Daredevil!
On my show, Challenge Accepted.
Oh my God.
Where I've experienced everything from NASA astronaut training to attempting Houdini's deadliest trick live.
Do not try this at home.
And these experiences, once unimaginable, are now reaching millions of people. But if I'm totally honest, I'm not just a creator. I'm also a really big fan. One of my favorite creators, Ryan Trahan,
I remind you of Ryan Trahan. That guy's pretty cool.
brings his nearly 20 million subscribers on these deeply wild and personal journeys.
Surviving on a penny for 1 week starts right now.
And Monet McMichael talks to her audience as if she's having a conversation with her best friend.
Just know that, like, I'm always rooting for you.
And Binging with Babish has inspired millions of people to get in the kitchen.
Oh my God.
On YouTube, there's something for everyone. And I mean, everyone.
Welcome to the wooden ASMR spot.
Unlike traditional streaming platforms, which aim solely for mass appeal, YouTube's content is as diverse as you are. So whether you want to watch NFL Sunday Ticket, learn about mushroom cultivation, do your makeup, build miniature worlds, stream your favorite gamer, work out, learn about how the world works, or just be entertained by the brilliance, rawness, realness, and humor of people like you, there's a video and a whole community waiting for you to join it. The magic of YouTube is in the connections between creators and their audiences, and even audiences creating their own communities. And really, that is what keeps millions of people coming back every single day. Because you don't just watch YouTube, you find your people. With millions of creators, billions of fans, and all the content we love, there's only one YouTube. Enjoy the rest of this meeting.
That was awesome. That was great. Thank you for bringing that. She is, but I will tell you guys, I could not do that Houdini trick. I have a deathly giant fear of water. Like, drowning is not a thing that I mean,
she boxes like it's
awesome.
professional like it's like kudos to her for
love
taking on
that.
some of those challenges.
I
Yeah.
love that. We were talking before this session about kind of our favorite creators. I have one. I follow folks, Kara and Nate, if you guys are familiar with them. They're travel creators. I was lucky enough to work with them many, many years ago when they were first getting started, and they are just genuinely good people too, and I love seeing good people grow. So also I had a dream of van life. Like I thought I could be that person. I certainly couldn't. So I vicariously just lived through them instead.
Not as easy.
No, no, not at all. So we know that there's tons of entertaining personalities on YouTube. We just saw a bunch. John, as a marketer, we're hearing more and more about how YouTube Shorts presents incredible value in its incrementality capabilities.
Yeah, this stat is absolutely insane to us. 45% of users who use YouTube Shorts don't use TikTok, and 65% don't use Instagram Reels. So when we talk about incrementality and we talk about opportunity, this is the opportunity for us in the creator space, but especially in the short form video space. So if you're partnering with creators or in general content in the vertical video space and you're not hitting the YouTube Shorts format, you're missing out on these audiences. And it's not audiences like, oh, you know, a few million people here. We have 70 billion views a day on YouTube Shorts. So that's the percentages we're talking about. That's significant, and we want really good creator content. We don't care what the platform is, but we want it to be seen by millions of people because it's what it deserves, it's what our creators deserve.
Yeah.
So if we can bring that creative to the YouTube Shorts platform, that's a great opportunity for incremental reach.
Yeah, agreed. You guys have had a ton of events the last, week and a half? You've been everywhere. What are some other big things that came out of your sessions that this audience should know about?
So YouTube's 20 years old this
20?
year. I know, it's crazy.
Shrink.
Oh my God, it's nuts. And we're actually celebrating 2 decades of like evolution, and now there's 20 billion uploaded videos on YouTube, which is just bananas. But if you go to the next one, if you go to the next slide,
Yep.
I'll give you like 4 kind of things that we talked about that were really important that I wanted to highlight. And this comes in the form of tooling, products, insights, right? So the first thing is our Brand Connect API. You might have heard of Brand Connect, but it's basically our technology platform that allows you to discover creators. We want you to be able to put in some parameters, and I want it to spit out all of the great creators we think you should be working with based on whatever those specs are for your campaign. So making that access easier to use and identify those creators, that's the goal. We've had Brand Connect for a long time. It used to be a company called FameBit that we turned it into Brand Connect. We used to say, and this is where marketing is going to get me in trouble because I'm going to start ripping our own company. We used to say, if you want some of this data, these creator data, this insight data, you have to come to our house to get it, right? And we were kind of like this island of YouTube creator data that existed. While these ecosystems started building, plugging into other competitors of ours to source that data and create tools that allow you to source the creator data really easily. So this year now, we're changing all that. So we're APIing the Brand Connect solution, and we're going to port it into a lot of these technology stacks and solutions that exist, like partners like Tinuiti.
Yep.
So that's what's being built with Tinuiti today, and allowing that brand creator discoverability to make it more seamless is what that first bullet would be. Second is Insights Finder. We have a ton of trends going on YouTube, right? We have lots of different things happening, and we know some of our competition has been able to source and capture a lot of those trends and insights and deliver that to you really seamlessly, so you can think about planning and know what's viral, what's hot, what's trending, and we want to bring that solution to you guys as well, and there's a lot of hidden gems in that space. So Insights Finder, which is something you'll be hearing, and we talked about it at our new front last week, will be something you'll hear more about too. We're going to API that. So it's not like come into our house to get the data. We want to integrate it into the third-party ecosystem with partners like Tinuiti as well. The last 2, Creator Essentials Toolkit. We have this interesting insight. Like when we pulled all of this creator data and we started really double down on like what's the opportunity, how does it break out, we found a ton of organic videos of creators talking about your brands. They're talking about it all the time, and they're not getting paid for it. It's not a sponsorship. It's just happening naturally. I want to be able to source all of those videos to you, and I want you to be able to see them, understand the sentiment. Is it positive? Is it negative? Understand how many times your brand's being mentioned, and then I want you to be able to boost it.
Yeah.
I want to give you the opportunity to put paid behind it and work with that creator and make that really seamless. So that's Creator Essentials Toolkit, and that's what we rolled out at the new fronts last week. Last is reporting, and we'll talk a little bit about metrics and some of the reporting as it relates to the creator ecosystem, but we improve ROI. We want to make, whatever integration we do with the creator, we want to prove its value, improve its effectiveness. So we have some enhanced reporting capabilities that we're rolling out, again, via an API.
I love that. The API is big for us too. We're excited. We're bringing all that into our YouTube planning tool, which I know will benefit a ton of our clients. So really jazzed on this stuff. Let's kind of pivot a bit and let's talk about watch time. We have seen YouTube have a huge rise in watch time, right? #1 streaming platform, #1 podcasting platform, evolving social platform. Talk about this rise. How is your team leveraging it? What's it like on your side?
Well, I'll give you a stat that Neil Mohan, I literally, so there were a bunch of announcements yesterday. One, we're having the first NFL game on YouTube for free. It's going to be out in Brazil. It's week 1. Chargers versus the Chiefs.
Oh.
So it's free. It's going to be huge.
Just a couple small teams.
I know. It's super exciting. It's the first free NFL game on YouTube. It's global. It's happening in Brazil, which is super exciting. So make sure to tune in. There are brand opportunities to partner if you're interested as well. But also our monthly usage, our consumption on YouTube Shorts has now hit on par with our traditional online video streaming platform. And that's happened so fast.
Yeah.
We're up 20% on YouTube Shorts in terms of growth and consumption because of that shift in consumer behavior. So that diversification of formats from like long form with the explosion of short form to our podcasting, which is now hitting over 1 billion hours a month, to our live streams, which creators are finding new innovative ways to engage with their consumers in that live stream format. That's the diversification of YouTube and the power of YouTube. Yeah. And we're just experimenting with creators on how to take advantage of those different formats.
I think the podcasting piece is wild, right? So many people now are going to watch them versus just listen to them, which was kind of an old behavior. I was telling John earlier, I have a friend that's an agent in the space, and I had reached out to her about some of her creators, and she sent me rate cards. And in there's actual rates for sponsorship of their YouTube streams, but the things within it. So you could be an outfit sponsor for their YouTube stream. You could be a beverage sponsor. You can put signage in the podcast studio. So these creators are finding new ways to monetize just because now we're pivoting to video versus just audio.
Yeah, I would say too, it's not an easy thing to figure out because it's like we have like a problem that most of the other platforms don't have, right? We have the long form, which is a super deep, extensive catalog of content. And if people want to spend hours going through creators' content, they have that opportunity. So now how can they tie that to shorts? How can they tie that to the short form? What is the hook, right? How does that relationship work with long and short? And we're kind of experimenting through that. I think one of the cool learnings, Gohar Khan is an awesome creator. I interviewed him last week at the New Front, and his big insight was that when he would post all these YouTube shorts, because he was getting new audiences, he wanted to be discoverable, and he's in the academia space, so he helps kids prepare for college, write their essays. Like, it's really, really awesome what he's doing, and he has millions and millions of subscribers, and his channel's continuing to grow. All of his comments on all of his shorts were like, I want to know more. I want to go deeper, and he was so focused on the shorts content. So he's like, I'm launching a podcast. I don't have a choice. Like, my audience is telling me this is where I need to go deep, and he has that opportunity to continue to do that in the YouTube space. So I love Gohar and what he's doing. You guys should check him out, especially if you have like kids in school. Like, my son's 9, so like we don't have to do this yet, but like when he's like 13, like I'm like, you're watching Gohar on YouTube, like for sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I think let's talk a little bit more about the concept of trust. We know that creators help build trust when they're working with brands. And, you know, it's awesome. You had mentioned YouTube's like the top platform for trustworthy creator content, but talk to us a little bit more about some of the trust.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a stats slide, but like the biggest takeaway here is that 81% of consumers are saying that YouTube creator content helps them during the research and discovery when they're looking for different products. Yeah. And that's because of the authenticity, right? And like, I know that there's a lot of people saying the authenticity and trust word, but I do feel when YouTube creators say it, they mean it. I think that they have built really long, like 20-year, in some cases, relationships with some of their consumers. And a lot of these folks have grown up with some of these YouTube creators. So the authenticity is real, and they do go deep on those catalogs of content that they have. So when those creators are talking about a certain brand and doing it in an authentic, trustful way, it is a no-brainer. Like, brands should be all over that. it's almost funny. It's like maybe this is too provocative, but it's like, are brands still selling their own stuff? Like, I get that that's still traditional media, but like, you have a plethora. We have 3 million creators on YouTube right now who are all desperate to partner with brands, who all have deep, rich, meaningful relationships with their consumer bases. Work with them. Like, let's find the ones that make sense for your brand.
Let them sell for you.
Let them sell for you. Yeah. They want to do that with you, and they want to partner with you in the authentic way and do it in the right way, right? That makes sense for their audience. But that's an opportunity for sure.
Agreed, 100%. So let's pivot a bit to search. Another thing we know, YouTube is the second largest search engine behind someone else that you guys know very well. Can you talk more about YouTube as a search engine, how you guys are harnessing that power?
Yeah, I thought it was talked about really well earlier, right? Like the evolution of search and the AI capabilities and functionality that's going to change how we interact with the search products, the search solutions, how brands interact with them. The same thing's happening on YouTube. I think we're going to see a lot of evolution there. The one thing that's really, really exciting for me is more of a measurement story around search. And you guys will love this because Tinuiti is such a performance-focused agency and you have such performance-focused clients. And we're trying to always move up the funnel, right? We want to fill the funnel, we want to find those opportunities, but we also want to prove the bottom part of the funnel, right? We want to be about results, but we also want to move upstream and up funnel. And I think some of the things that we're rolling out now, and they're in beta, and we want to get better at them, and we're pushing product to make them better because they're a differentiator for us, but search lift for organic creator assets. Right, like that's some of the stuff that I think we're going to get into. So if you can run, let's say you partner one of those 3 million creators that we talked about, you build a great asset. Let's say you don't even put any paid behind it. You just want this creator to leverage their network and put this asset out there to talk about your brand and evangelize it. We can measure within an hour, and we can change that time frame, how many people are actually searching for whatever brand or product that was mentioned within that organic post that was made. And we can see directly what that search lift will be from that asset, and we can directly correlate that. I think in a time where like AI formats and search is like so competitive, right? And just trying to squeeze every little thing you can out of performance marketing and out of search marketing, if we can tie like creator to the search and to the like conversions and to people, like I think that's huge. Tremendous, right? Yeah. It's just getting it right and doing it in the seamless way, and that's what some of the things that are evolving with product. Yeah. That we'll see. So
I love that. Yeah. I even personally, and I talked to your team at YouTube about this. Like I recently bought a house, and we have decided to renovate the whole house. I don't know why. I'm an HGTV fan. We just decided to do it. I've never done it before. The first place we go is YouTube. I can learn how to patch drywall, fix a leaky faucet, maybe buy a new shower head. Like that is the first place that I go. We don't tell my dad that because he still thinks I call him first, but still, YouTube University is the place that we go.
I remember we were putting backsplash tile, and I was using a wet saw.
Harder than you think.
I have no idea. I'm on YouTube like, what do I do? Plug this thing in? Like,
you don't want to mess with the saws either. That's when there's a real problem. So let's go back to shorts for a bit. So we talked about YouTube for long form. You already mentioned a ton of growth in this snackable content arena. Where do you see shorts going? Like, where's the vision there?
So we talked about a little bit about like the consumption and like the monetization opportunities, and like now they're at par. I think, and we talked a little about the consumer behavior, so I don't want to be too repetitive. What I do want to admit is that YouTube in its original day, and I've been with Google and YouTube for 13 years now, and I watched the evolution of like the product, and it has always been a consumer behavior that we were chasing around cord cutting. Right, and cable, and the death of cable, and TV share shift, right, and the GRPs. How do we fill the GRPs? And it was like YouTube could help fill the GRPs in the TV space, and we kept that, and we built products like Google Preferred, which is now Google Select. It's our top creator inventory, and we sold it at CPM premium, and we'll continue to do that. But I think the new consumer behavior has happened, and YouTube's a little bit behind the ball on that. On catching up to that. And that new consumer behavior is short form, scrollable, sometimes for the worse or better, doom scrolling, like you're in it and you want it snackable, you want it quick, and you want it in a vertical video format. And that's why there's such a push to the shorts world. And you'll see a lot more products, you'll see a lot more solutions that integrate creators and brands, you'll see a lot of the technology solutions and insights and data. All of those things are because we understand that maybe the TV share shift and the cord cutter narrative is it's a little old. Yeah. And we need to start getting with times and focus on this new consumer shift. So
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So on that note, we've got a room full of marketers here. You've got a great engaged audience. I'd be remiss if we failed to talk about this one topic. So John, when you're working with brands, how are you coaching them to leverage YouTube? Where does the magic happen for brand partners?
Okay, I love this. My team and I made this up a couple weeks ago, and we think it's a really clean way to look at it. So it's the 3 Bs. That's how you can start. When you think about how to work with creators on YouTube, I'd start with 3 things. We talked about the Creator Essentials toolkit. This is where I'm going to pull all of the organic assets where a creator is talking about your brand and show them to you. This is your opportunity to boost them. So you can boost those assets after I show you what creators are talking about what, who's talking positively, who's talking negatively, because we're going to get the full transparency of it. But you have an opportunity to boost it. So that's a good way to start. Easy. Let's find the creator, boost it, test it. Bring. You guys are building fantastic, awesome creator assets on other platforms. Let's bring them to YouTube. Let's bring them to Shorts. Let's test them and experiment with those formats where they're happening in other places in your business. And then build. We have great partnerships with the influencer marketing agencies, with Tinuiti and Crystal. If there's an opportunity to build a net new asset, we can help you source those creators. We can help you source what the right messaging is and work with partners like Crystal to actually launch its own exclusive campaign on YouTube Shorts. So those are three Bs that I think that are a good starting point.
I love that. Nice and easy to the point. And I think that, if this loads, we've got some videos from a client of ours that is tapping creators in a really, really successful way. So Culligan is a water filtration system, if you guys are familiar with them, but they've got some really cool ways that they're looking at creators. They're looking at creators that maybe are like me and renovating or building a home. You've got folks that are going into new life events. So I have it, the woman has a new baby. She's concerned about the quality of her water. All the way through to HGTV stars, where people are already going to get information and recommendations about their homes. They're inserting their message into those. And I think that that's really cool because they're basically answering questions before people have to ask them. And I find that to be really, really interesting. So we've been talking a ton about creators. That's a personal, pride point for me, but also the lifeblood of YouTube. But we can't miss out on touching on, a huge piece of advice that, you and I have been talking about, we've been talking about with our clients, which is the full ecosystem of YouTube. So I think the first is thinking about the organic side of things. It allows for searchability. We can have brands insert their message, long form, short form, figuring out what people are searching for and creating content around that just automatically puts them in the conversation. We talked about creators. They allow non-brand voices contributing to the conversation, trust, authority. And then paid, again, our bread and butter here, but getting additional reach, niche audiences, having connection points across the funnel. But John, a lot of times our marketers will say, that's a lot of content, guys. That's tough to do. I feel like your 3 Bs framework will work here. Do you agree? Like, what's your advice when you hear that, like, oh, this is a lot of content to figure out?
Right, when we were running through this earlier, I had a different answer.
Oh.
And I'm pivoting. And I'm getting.
We're all learning together.
This is like where it's nice to not be at like a Google event where a marketing person and a lawyer are like, no. I'm working on this thing called an influencer report, right? And what I want to do is give a brand the full scope of their paid, owned, and earned content that's happening across YouTube. Because you're only seeing a lot of the paid. You're probably seeing the owned because you own it, right? Your subs and your fan pages, etc. But you're definitely not seeing what's happening when the content is amplified, right? And all of that earned media that's going on, and what they're saying about it, and what they're saying, how many times, the frequency they're talking about your brand, right? And I want to give you that full transparency and that full visibility. And eventually, what I want to do is allow you to find correlations in the data. To say like, oh, if I move X dollars in paid, does that amplify my organic, right? Do more people talk about it when I put an extra dollar here, right? And when they are talking about it, is it positive, right? Are they doing it in the right way? Are we saying the right things? So that is we've pulled it for a few brands internally. It is completely in like this wireframe, like whiteboard mess. And our meeting is with Brian and Crystal and you guys next week. And Tinuiti is going to be one of the first partners to help build it, and we're looking for a client to test it and take a look at it and let us know if you can help us launch the influencer report. So super excited. It's early,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to be really impactful.
Build it together. It'll be great.
And it's going to be fun. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. We had a couple questions we were going to kind of breeze through, but to be honest with you guys, we're at time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a QR code. If you guys want some more information from our friends at YouTube, grab your phones, scan the QR code. They put together some really cool stuff. But John, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
Thank you for the
thanks for
insights.
having
That
me.
was the fastest 25 minutes I've had
I know,
in a while.
right?
Thank you guys for joining and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Appreciate you guys.